Hey Van Buskirks. I was going to try to touch this all up, but I figured it'd be a little easier in the video to show you some of the hands-on demos that I do. So I'm going to try to go through these real quick. The one thing I do with the kids is have them come up and um, have an easel. If they could provide an easel for you, you have to come as a kids come up and write their name on the board. They do it kind of easy, and then you ask them to do it with their opposite hand, like their left hand. You can even have the teacher do that too. And it just shows them the difficulty and the concentration that maybe some kids with Down syndrome um, have to go through when trying to write their name. That's why their writing might not be as neat as theirs, because it's like trying to write with your opposite hand. That goes over really well. They like when the teacher does it. Another item I do is I bring in a shoe, and I ask for somebody to come up and tie their shoe, and they usually do it pretty easy. And then I ask them to put on gloves. The knit gloves are really easy to get. You get them at Five Below or whatever, and you put them on and try to tie the shoes with the gloves on. Kids will have problems with that. One kid will probably make it look bad and do it real easy, but yeah, and that just goes to show them like, hey, this is the concentration it takes. And I would make it as personal as possible. I always use Cole as an example. Like, hey, Cole really has trouble with the small manipulation and tying the shoes and stuff like that. So anything you can relate to Ryan would be probably good. And one thing I show them is sometimes kids with Down syndrome have to learn maybe a little differently than a typical kid. So what we did with Cole was, and I show him a little trick with tying shoes. I go, the hardest part is doing the loop, right, and holding the loop steady. So I just show him how you get the tip of the shoelace, you stick it in there, get their tip of the shoelace, and you stick it in there, and it has your loops already. So all you have to do, the loops stay, you don't have to worry about them, and then you just flip over and do the rest of tying the shoe. I always think that's pretty neat. A lot of kids don't know that. A lot of the kids will probably learn to tie their shoes, so that's a pretty good one to go through. I always bring up a couple volunteers to try at each step, and it keeps everybody engaged, which works out really well. The other thing I do with the gloves, I have them do it without, and they usually do things pretty easy. And I have them put on the gloves, like turning pages in a book, doing it with the regular hand, doing it without the gloves, and I have them put the gloves on and trying to turn pages in a book, and then feeling how difficult that is. Picking up coins off the table, um, not sliding it off, but picking it up with the mittens on, it's a lot harder. And doing typical things like at lunch, like maybe opening a baggie, which kids can have trouble with, but once you put those gloves on, a lot more problems. So there's just some of the things I've done with the kids that go really well. But anytime you can bring two or three of them up to a table and do these demos in front of everybody else, it really goes over well. But it sounds like everything else you have sounds pretty good. I'll try to send over my PowerPoint slides that I did. I know you have your own, but yeah, whatever works. If you have any questions, let me know. But I think it's great you're doing it. And again, anytime you can personalize it to your kid a little bit, because they've seen Ryan, they know Ryan, so it helps them click a little bit. And yeah, the last thing I would leave you with is just leave a lot of time for questions. They'll ask some great ones, and they'll sharpen your game for sure. So good luck with everything, and if you need anything, let me know. Thanks.